Tonight, almost $2.20 and counting. South Australians paying a higher price each day for the war in the Middle East. Secret talks, a daring hotel escape, chaos on the bus, a day of drama as Iranian soccer players seek asylum. Police reveal further sightings of a missing grandmother as they step up their search for the 73-year-old. Could Adelaide be the stage for yet another major world sporting event? And the Crows confident Riley Thilthorpe will be fit to face Collingwood, plus a debutant set to be unleashed at the MCG.
This is Adelaide's 9 News with Brenton Ragless.
Good evening. Some local petrol outlets have tonight run dry. Others now restricting the sale of fuel as motorists stockpile beyond their needs. Concerned the conflict in the Middle East will deplete reserves here. Ella Duffy is live this evening in Prospect. Now, Ella, prices are also continuing to rise.
Brenton here on Prospect Road. Unleaded is now nudging $2.20 per litre, following the lead of many other outlets across the city who made the jump earlier today. At those very few places still selling for below $2, we've seen long lines, motorists trying to get in on what would now be considered a bargain. In Whyalla, the spike in demand has caused some petrol stations to run dry, alerting customers that they no longer have fuel. Other outlets telling me they've been forced to ration their stock, limiting customers to 1 jerry can each after some motorists began stockpiling in excess of 20. The government says the country has sufficient reserves, but the sudden spike in demand means outlets simply cannot get deliveries fast enough to replenish their storage tanks. Motorists are really just hoping that this all comes to an end soon.
I'm hoping that this thing's going to blow over pretty quick, and it's not going to be affecting me for any length of time.
I think it's just crazy. The fuel prices need to come down, you know.
The RAA says it is far too soon to tell how long this will all drag on for. It all depends on the duration of the conflict in the Middle East. Brenton.
Thank you, Ella. And that pain at the petrol pump is being felt right across the nation. While the federal government downplays any impending crisis, struggling regional communities are warning they're at breaking point.
Madness in Melbourne, long waits in the west, petrol at a premium across Australia. But the call from Canberra is for calm.
Our diesel and petrol supplies remain at this point secure.
Global fears caused the price of oil to surge to $116 a barrel yesterday, but reversing rapidly today, tonight trading at $93 a barrel. That should eventually see prices drop nearly 25 cents a litre here. But access remains an issue.
Especially out in rural and regional areas, and especially those key industries of agriculture, of mining, of fishing that keep this nation going.
At Wallangarra on the New South Wales-Queensland border, they're out.
As soon as the fuel runs out and I can't get supplies, it's going to be very dangerous for this town.
They've run out of fuel in these towns. Now, if that happened in a city suburb, they'd be hell to pay.
Today, a forum as oil companies sat with farmers, freight and food distributors attempting to deal with the squeeze.
They are having trouble meeting the extra orders that are coming on the spot market because they are so high.
It's a little bit hard not to panic. I know he says we have enough fuel, but how come we're not getting it?
That's being blamed on panic buying and scattered reports of risky backyard stockpiling.
You can't fix a problem if you don't admit there is one.
That problem caused by Iranian threats to ships in the Strait of Hormuz, a vital shipping lane separating Iran from the UAE and Oman. 20% of global oil flows through the strait. President Trump posting, if Iran does anything that stops the flow of oil, they will be hit 20 times harder, warning death, fire and fury will rain upon them. Australia's stock market rebounding today, up more than 1%, some small relief for superannuation accounts. But the threat at the checkout not over, with shipping lanes delayed.
Think of the 5 Fs: fuel, fertiliser, pharmaceuticals, food and future food.
Charles Croucher, 9 News.
The number of Iranian women's football players calling Australia home could tonight be growing. After 5 members pulled off a daring hotel escape with the help of police, more of their teammates are in talks to stay, expressing reluctance to return to war-torn Iran and an uncertain future.
The start of a dangerous journey home, but it seems not everyone wanted to leave. One player pulled towards the bus by a teammate.
She's pleaded, she's crying and didn't want to get on the bus. She's trying to contact her mum, there's a digital blackout.
And as the bus headed to the Gold Coast airport, protesters tried to stop its progress. The final destination, war-torn Tehran, but it was a football team divided. 5 members, including the captain, in a high-stakes game of secrecy, outwitting their minders, escaping the hotel for a meeting with Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke, who quickly granted asylum. Australia, now their safe haven, they had much to celebrate.
Lots of photos, lots of celebrating, and then a spontaneous outbreak of Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
They're immediately welcomed by local Iranians, the 5 women, casting off an old life, embracing new freedoms.
Look at that. Without Islamic regime mandatory hijab, they are smiling, they're full of energy. That's a new season, a new chapter of life for them.
The team grabbed worldwide attention when it refused to sing Iran's national anthem in the first game of the Asian Cup, and they were branded traitors by the Islamic regime. Their plight caught the attention of US President Donald Trump. At 1:16 a.m. Australian Eastern Time, he took aim on social media, posting, "Australia is making a terrible humanitarian mistake. Mr Prime Minister, give asylum." But at that same moment, Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke was in a room with the 5 players and with visa paperwork in hand. At 2 a.m, Trump called Prime Minister Albanese, who filled him in on the plan. Almost an hour later, Trump posted again. He's on it. The Prime Minister is doing a very good job.
Australians have been moved by the plight of these brave women. They're safe here and they should feel at home here.
Alsal Alamadara worked with one of the players and her family in Iran.
It's a pretty difficult decision to make because we know the families were being threatened back at home. The girls here were also being threatened.
She's happy with her decision?
Absolutely.
But as Australia opened its arms to a handful of Iranian football players, the door was shut to thousands more. The Home Affairs Minister to be given temporary powers, preventing those fleeing conflict seeking asylum here. In the meantime, Tony Burke made one last offer to the remaining team members.
I say to the other members of the team who have not yet made this decision, the same opportunity is here for you if that's what you want.
They may still have a few hours to make that decision. The players are not due to fly out of Sydney until later this evening. What will greet them? A country at war and a brutal regime that may not be that welcoming. Damien Ryan, 9 News.
Meanwhile, mixed messages from the White House tonight about when the war will end. The US president first declaring that the operation was very complete before threatening to hit Iran even harder. For now, countries across the Middle East continue to trade blows.
A battle cry in a war zone. As smoke from a nearby strike hangs in the sky. In Iran's capital, crowds pledge their allegiance to the new supreme leader. This will make them fear the name of harmony again, this woman says. Our new leader came to revenge the blood of our martyred leader.
I think he's pretty much a carbon copy of his father, Mushtaba, and he's going to pursue the same policies. And those policies will be basically to survive.
I was disappointed because we think it's going to lead to just more of the same problem for the country. So I was disappointed to see their choice.
America's vision for Iran and its timeline for this war seems to shift by the minute.
Mr. President, you've said the war is, quote, very complete, but your defense secretary says this is just the beginning. So which is it, and how long should Americans be prepared?
Well, I think you could say it both. It's the beginning of building a new country, but they have no Navy, they have no Air Force. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. It's all been blown up.
Yet the missiles keep flying. A second Iranian drone bound for NATO member Turkey shot down. At least one person killed during an attack on Bahrain's capital. Israel is continuing its fight on 2 fronts. Fresh strikes on Lebanon sending thick smoke through the streets of Beirut. On the other side of the border, This chicken farm in northern Israel struck by a rocket typically used by Hezbollah. It is so close to the launch site, there's no time for residents to seek shelter.
What is scary is over here because we're so close to the border of Lebanon. So first of all, is they have the bomb and then they have the alarm. So
the bomb comes before the alarm.
And it's very scary because we have little children. You see, this is my guys.
Central Israel hit with ammunition cluster warheads from Iran. The shockwave throwing this man to the ground. Another person was killed at a construction site. 10 days in, and both sides are digging in. For how much longer? Anyone's guess. In Israel, Mimi Becker, 9 News.
There's been a major development in the search for a missing grandmother who vanished after a trip to the Adelaide Central Market nearly 3 weeks ago. Investigators say the 73-year-old was spotted by members of the public in the Brighton area more than 24 hours after she arrived in Adelaide.
Knocking door to door, scouring along the sand, police in pursuit of answers, searching for missing grandmother Patricia Ewens, who disappeared nearly 3 weeks ago.
It is out of character to be away this long. She is known to have come to Adelaide to the central markets, but generally does return on the same day.
The beachside suburb of Brighton now at the centre of the investigation. Police today revealing the 73-year-old was spotted multiple times in the area, walking near Brighton Caravan Park, the Seacliff Surf Club and the Brighton Surf Club on February 19th.
Her last direction was travelling north on the Esplanade, North Brighton, at about 10 p.m.
The same evening, her purse and bag was found on nearby Gladstone Road.
It was her purse and the black bag which says I love Salvos on it, and inside her purse was cards and a small amount of cash.
A day earlier, Patricia had taken a bus from her home in Port Pirie to Adelaide to go shopping at the Central Market. Why she was in North Brighton more than 24 hours later remains a mystery.
I don't have any information as to why she was in the Brighton area at this stage, which is why I'm seeking public assistance of anyone that may know her to provide information to police.
It's understood Patricia doesn't have a mobile phone, but police are still seriously concerned that she hasn't made contact with any family or friends in Port Pirie in weeks. Today's efforts following a search by Patricia's family yesterday, who swept Gladstone Road for themselves. At this stage, police say there's no indication of foul play.
We are still treating her as a high-risk missing person, and our concerns do lie around the fact that she is 73 years of age.
Samantha Hogan, 9 News.
Another global sporting event is in the state's sights as Adelaide rides a wave of momentum after securing the MotoGP only weeks ago. Let's bring in Braithwaite Ingram. Braithwaite, what are we hoping to land this time?
Well, Brenton, it's the 2020 Cricket World Cup final in 2028 that, if secured, would have hundreds of millions of viewers across the world tuning in on our city and the magnificent Adelaide Oval. Now, this bid is being spearheaded by the Saka, who just a few days ago was making the case at this year's final in India. Now, the main competition at this stage is Melbourne and the MCG, which has held every Cricket World Cup final Australia has hosted. And while the G might have a significant size advantage, Adelaide Oval did host a semi-final in 2022. So cricket chiefs believe a simple swap would do the trick and not affect the bottom line if granted the decider. The Premier getting right behind the proposal following the success of Live Golf, Gather Round and the arrival of MotoGP.
You've got to be in it to win it. And because we've been in it, we've won things, and then one opportunity creates two more.
Now, the Saka is remaining coy, but in a statement said it's always pursuing opportunities to host more major cricket. This will include discussions with relevant stakeholders at the right time. In terms of a timeline for a decision, we expect it before this year's summer of cricket, and sources have told me there's a feeling Adelaide is ahead of the competition. It'll certainly take a compelling bid and a serious war chest, but Brenton, time and time again, Adelaide has shown it's a big game player.
Too right. Let's hope so, Brenton. Thank you. The Nationals are tonight without a leader after David Littleproud stepped down from the role this afternoon. Political editor Charles Croucher joins us live from Canberra. Now, Charles, he made the announcement just after question time today.
And Brenton, he did, and it came as a shock. David Littleproud resigning the leadership, but not his spot in Parliament. It follows a turbulent 12 months, including Labor's big election win, the coalition splitting and then rejoining twice, and the defection of former leader Barnaby Joyce and high-profile Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price. Mr Littleproud had proven the control over his party room in a recent spill and proven control over the coalition, which is where South Australians were affected by recent policy choices. But he says after consulting with his wife, he's realised he's done.
I'm buggered. I'd have enough. To lead this great party would be the wrong thing for me to do. I love the National Party. I grew up in it. I'll bleed till the day I die green and gold.
It further complicates the Farrer by-election for the Nationals, where One Nation are eyeing a seat, particularly if they do well in South Australia. In the shorter term, a new leader will be picked this week. Michael McCormack, Matt Canavan, Bridget McKenzie and Kevin Hogan touted as potential replacements.
Charles, thank you. Chris Picton has rebuffed calls for his resignation after being accused of, again, overseeing the release of confidential patient information. The Premier backing in his health minister while pitching more measures to get kids off screens and onto the sporting fields.
When Monica Wallstatt approached the media last year after 4 cancelled elective surgeries, the government told journalists one was scrapped because she wasn't taking a specific medication.
It doesn't give them the right. They should have approached me to get the consent.
And it's the lack of consent the Liberals claim is a breach of patient confidentiality.
Journalists will come to the government to fact check that information, and it's appropriate that the government answers those questions.
But that does not extend to releasing specific details about the type of medication that someone is on.
It's the second criticism of the Health Minister in a matter of days. On Sunday, he apologised for the release of an email attributed to the wrong person to justify claims of poor treatment of a man dying of cancer.
I don't see how this is tenable for him.
I'm committed to continuing to do the job.
The Premier today fighting off calls for his Health Minister to resign, instead focusing on new election promises. A $22 million pledge would see free before and after school activities for public students, creating ease around pickups for parents.
It's convenience, it's cost-free, and it's keeping kids active.
Also committing to an extension of the school sports voucher program, offering $200 a year for students up to 18 years old.
Our government is dead serious about getting kids off screens, but that means we have to be dead serious about giving them other things to do.
Gus McDonald, 9 News.
An accused drink driver has been busted by police driving on 3 wheels at Dry Creek. Police say the Hyundai crashed into a guardrail on the Port River Expressway just after 10 last night. Patrols tracked the car to Wingfield, where the 19-year-old Taparoo man underwent a breath test and was reported for drink driving and aggravated driving without due care. Meantime, investigators are appealing for information to track down almost 100 plaques stolen from gravestones at Corn and Wilmington in the state's north. About 95 plaques were discovered stolen from the cemeteries on Friday. Police calling for any information that may help find the plaques or whoever stole them. The Adelaide 36ers' first finals campaign in 8 years gets underway tonight. And our man Tom Rehn is just about the best seat in the house. G'day there, Reddy. The entertainment centre will be rocking there tonight.
Oh, it already has that feel about it, doesn't it, Brenton? We're about 45 minutes or so away from tip-off, and by that time, this place will be packed to the rafters. We are going to have a full preview and go one-on-one with Zylan Cheatham as the Sixers look to strike first. We cannot wait for it. Also coming up in sport, though, a little bit later, Riley Thilthorpe, well, the Crows say he will take on the Pies, while a debutant could also be unleashed. At Alberton, it's all systems go for Miles, and the coach is set to throw him straight into the engine room. And the T-Birds take some time out before getting into the swing of things right here on Saturday. That's all coming up later in sport, Brenton.
Thanks, Reddy. Have fun there. Talk to you soon. Still to come on 9 News tonight is the former MP who sued the Premier. Why her multi-million-dollar case has now been thrown out. That report is next. Also, central Queensland ravaged by floods, residents cut off by rising waters, and making a case for cannabis. The local political party hoping to see marijuana legalised for sale. A former South Australian MP's multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the Premier has been thrown out by a Supreme Court judge. The court ruling there was no reasonable basis for Annabelle Dygantz's case, but she says the years-long legal battle is far from over.
It all dates back to 2021. Former Labor MP Annabelle Dygantz and her husband Greg sensationally arrested. They were jointly charged with blackmail, accused of threatening Peter Malinauskas in an effort to resurrect Ms Dygantz's political career. 2 years on, the case was dropped. On the proviso, the couple agreed to leave Mr Malinauskas alone. But in July last year, Ms Dygantz sued him for $2.3 million, arguing the case was a malicious prosecution. It's a claim the Supreme Court today dismissed. A welcome decision by the Premier.
Naturally, at various points along the way, it hasn't been easy, but I've always done what I believe to be right. And this decision today, I think, in no small way validates it.
The judge said there was no reasonable basis to Ms Dygantz's claim, saying ultimately the decision to prosecute wasn't the Premier's, it was made by SA Police and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Mr Malinauskas has previously said he just wants to be left alone by the Dygantzes.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But in a statement to us, Ms Dygantz says she's instructed her legal team to commence the process of an appeal. And so this legal saga may not be over yet. Beth Excel, 9 News.
A former Adelaide school teacher will stand trial for alleged child sex crimes. Abby Lee Violi formally pleaded not guilty, denying all charges against her today, including allegations of indecently assaulting a teenager. The 25-year-old from the northeastern suburbs will face the district court in June, when a date for her trial will be set. Residents in the Queensland town of Bundaberg are on edge tonight, with the Burnett River expected to reach a major flood level of 7.6 metres at midnight. The bridge to the northern side of the town has already been cut off, leaving 10,000 residents isolated. Those in affected suburbs have been told to leave immediately, while an evacuation centre has been set up. A mock cannabis shop has been set up on Hindley Street as part of a bold bid to legalise the drug. But it's not a plan the major political parties or doctors are endorsing in the lead-up to the state election.
It's the pop-up shop giving South Australians a sneak peek inside the life of legalised cannabis.
So that particular style there is really helpful for people with sleep issues.
The legalised cannabis party taking their election pitch to the streets, setting up a live cannabis dispensary on Hindley Street to show what a tightly controlled cannabis market could look like if the sale of the drug was given the green light.
We're finding that people are starting to understand the benefits of cannabis, not just medicinally but recreationally as well.
Customers would be able to just walk straight into the shop and ask the seller what they want under a legal framework like outlets in Canada and the United States.
Similar to what you would do in a bottle shop. Some people like to taste test their wines or their beers. We would have completely different strains available.
If legalised, the party says shops like this one here would have strict age verification, product testing and security requirements. But it's not an idea the Australian Medical Association is backing.
We do not support the unregulated use of cannabis.
The opposition and the government sharing the bipartisan view that cannabis shouldn't be legalised.
We're out here today announcing policy to get kids out and about, healthy and active, not smoking dope. So there's a pretty clear choice between us.
Kelly Hughes, 9 News.
A police car has crashed into the front of a Western Sydney home, leaving it in ruins. The officers were responding to an incident under lights and sirens when the vehicle left the road and ploughed into the Merrylands property about 5 last night. The damage so severe the family couldn't stay there overnight.
No, we couldn't stay there. We couldn't stay here. We can't. I actually don't feel safe anymore.
No, the power's off, electricity's off, the gas is off.
The residents say police also crashed into their home back in 2024. Well, the mild change is on the way for Adelaide midweek, but Jessica Braithwaite, we're still sitting in that autumn sweet spot.
Oh, we sure are, Brenton. We are doing so well with the weather in Adelaide at the moment, I have to say. Today, I would say even more of a summery vibe with temperatures up above 30 degrees in the city, probably our warmest day of the week. So we got up to 33 degrees this afternoon. Still sitting around that mark at the moment. From here, we do have this midweek dip in temperatures. It's all with this front moving through here. It's going to change the wind direction, bring some cooler temperatures up. But even then, we're still going to be sitting in the 20s, so very enjoyable conditions. And the showers that are around are likely to be landing further south. So I can't offer any showers, but I can offer a run of quite stable weather. And I've got the full forecast coming up soon, Brenton.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Jessica. In the news ahead, Australia's military might now headed for the war, deploying a Defence Force plane, personnel and missiles to the Middle East. That story is next. Also, a disastrous hot air balloon landing turns deadly. And senior royals out together for the first time since Andrew's arrest, met by loud protesters. Australia has officially made its first move in the Iran war. 85 Australian Defence Force personnel are tonight on board a high-tech Air Force jet bound for the Middle East to protect our allies in the Gulf and ward off missile threats from Iran.
Dispatched to a war zone, Australia's world-leading surveillance plane headed for the Middle East.
Helping the UAE and other Gulf nations to defend themselves against what are unprovoked attacks.
When your friends ask you for help, if you're able to help, you should help.
By week's end, the RAAF Wedgetail will be in the skies over Bahrain, Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. Specialist crew using high-tech equipment to detect Iranian missile and drone attack.
One of the leading capabilities in the world in terms of airborne long-range reconnaissance.
We're not taking offensive action against Iran, and we've been clear that we are not deploying Australian troops on the ground.
But Australia is sending medium-range air-to-air missiles to the UAE, following a written request from Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed to the Prime Minister.
These are defensive weapons, and I want to make that clear.
If you're in an aircraft shot down by an Australian missile, that's pretty offensive to me.
This will only lead to more bloodshed, and it is putting our personnel in harm's way.
The military build-up continuing. France sending a dozen vessels, including an aircraft carrier, as part of a plan to escort oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz, amid broader concern about Donald Trump's mission in Iran.
I don't think profound changes to Iran's regime or political system can be achieved solely through bombing.
And in the absence of the US president defining precisely what he wants to achieve in Iran, Australia can expect more requests for help from America and the Gulf states. Andrew Probyn, 9 News.
When Donald Trump dialed down under at 2 o'clock this morning, the phone call that followed was evidence of a solid relationship between old allies. In less than 2 hours, the US president went from warning Australia to praising Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. And that is significant at a time when Donald Trump is continuing to lash out at key partners. America's attitude to its allies and the unpredictability of the president has the world asking questions, none the least. What now?
We've already won in many ways, but we haven't won enough. We go forward more determined than ever to achieve ultimate victory that will end this long-running danger once and for all.
Tonight, Donald Trump describing the war in Iran as a little excursion and declaring America is ahead of schedule.
Lauren Tomasi. The FBI has launched a terrorism investigation after an explosive device was thrown at the New York City mayor, Zoran Mamdani's home. The suspects, aged 18 and 19, are facing federal charges in connection with the incident which took place during protests. Authorities say they're investigating it as an ISIS-inspired act of terror. A freak accident in the skies over Poland. A hot air balloon hitting a building and coming down. Its pilot killed in the crash. The 28-year-old had extensive aviation experience. An investigation now underway into what went wrong. 2 US brothers who worked as high-profile real estate brokers have been convicted of drugging and raping dozens of women, along with their third brother, in a New York court case. The brothers had previously been accused of rape and kidnap by Australian woman Kate Whiteman. She paused her civil case to allow the criminal case to take place first, but died earlier this year. The 3 men will be sentenced in August. The King has issued a call for unity amidst rising global unrest in his annual Commonwealth Day address. The royal family presenting a united front at their most significant public appearance since the arrest of the former Prince Andrew.
The Sovereign and his heir apparent putting on a brave face on the day dedicated to uniting the 2.7 billion citizens of the Commonwealth. The King encouraging communities to embrace shared values and mutual respect, but not specifically speaking about the war in the Middle East. Westminster Abbey filled with representatives from all 56 nations.
A family of choice, stretching across continents, cultures, oceans and generations.
But outside, protesters filled the streets.
I'm here to protest against an institution that I think is profoundly unfair.
Well, I've been anti-monarchy most of my life.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's fall from grace fueling their cause.
It doesn't necessarily change what I think of King Charles or William.
Today gives the King a chance to prove why the Commonwealth still needs a voice of stability at a time where peace and cohesion appear to be in short supply.
God save the King. We are the British. Like we said, our national anthem, no surrender.
In London, Josh Bavis, 9 News.
Still ahead this Tuesday, as Australia's share market tumbles in the wake of the war, Effie Zahos has the tips on how to navigate the hit to your super. The details shortly. And the new 5-minute test for a common chronic condition. To finance, and the roller coaster continued on the share market today. Here's finance editor Chris Colo.
There's market volatility, and then there's whatever this is. Yesterday, the price of oil jumped 25%. Today, it did a U-turn and dropped back by as much as 10% after Donald Trump calmed market concerns. Our share market bounced today too, but the rally faded in the afternoon as analysts at the Bank of America predicted the Reserve Bank will hike interest rates next week. Big bank economists don't agree, but it's a worry for borrowers, businesses and investors. Overall, the ASX 200 regained almost 100 points today, with BHP shares making back about half what they lost yesterday. The Australian dollar is buying close to 71 US cents and 61 euro cents tonight. And while an oil price at $94 is better than $120, the impact of higher prices is already being felt at service stations. The NRMA says it takes 7 to 10 days for petrol prices to respond, so it could still be a rocky road from here.
Thank you, Chris. And amid the volatility on the share market, losses are also being felt on millions of Australian superannuation accounts. But as 9 Money editor Effie Zahos explains, the key is not to panic.
If you haven't checked your super balance in the last week or so, don't. You might spoil your dinner. Even with today's market bounce back, your fund has taken a hit. Exactly how much depends on your strategy. On a $100,000 balance since the crisis began, a conservative fund is down about $900. A balanced fund, where most Aussies are invested, down around $1,650. A growth fund with up to 70% invested in shares, around $2,000. But before you panic, remember we have been here before and much worse. During the COVID crash, the market tanked 36%. Yet $1 left in a growth fund then is worth $1.90 today. If you'd switch to cash, just $1.15. Switching to cash now could be the worst move you make. You lock in the loss and risk missing the rebound. Even if you're age 60 or 70, you've still got decades of investing ahead. Market dips are uncomfortable, but panic can be more expensive.
It's a crippling condition that can take up to 8 years to diagnose. But now University of Queensland researchers are paving the way for earlier detection of endometriosis. They've developed a simple 5-minute questionnaire to identify those who may be at risk of the chronic disease and fast-track treatment. The tool will first be tested by GP and endometriosis clinics before exploring whether an app could be developed. Well, sports next with Tom Rehn, who's got front row seats to the 36ers final tonight. Ready? They're just minutes away from tip-off.
Oh, and forget about getting a seat tonight, Brenton. They are all gone. The atmosphere already phenomenal. And up next, we're going to hear from Sixers star Zylan Cheatham ahead of this magnificent semi-final series. Plenty of football coming up too, and a long-awaited debut could be coming up for Toby Murray. His big bro certainly has his fingers crossed. Also, the Power gives Jack Lukosius the green light to tackle the Roos, and the latest on the Lions' two-pronged tribunal battle. Hello again from the Entertainment Centre. We are going to preview the 36ers' sensational semi-final series against the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix very, very shortly. But first, let's get to football. And Crow star Riley Thilthorpe, he's set to put his back complaint to the test tomorrow. The club, though, is confident he will be okay to tackle Collingwood at the MCG on Saturday night. And what a night it is looming to be for the Murray family, with Toby set to make his debut alongside older brother Nick.
It's been years in the making for the Murray brothers.
Something that you probably dream of growing up, playing in the backyard with your brother, to be able to, be out there on the MCG. If it does happen, it'd be pretty special.
Toby Murray on the verge of his AFL debut. With Nick crossing his fingers, they'll run out together in front of 80,000 fans against the Pies on Saturday night. The established Crows defender with a front row seat to Toby's development ever since he arrived via the mid-season draft in 2024.
He did come over quite raw, I must admit, and to have the likes of Thilthorpe, Tex, sort of help him along, to see how he's improved, over pre-seasons and put on a lot of size. It's a real credit to him.
The addition of a fifth man on the bench opening the door for Murray to partner Lockie McAndrew in the ruck while also spending time up forward. But it's the 22-year-old's nickname, Ibis, that could quickly earn him cult status with the fan base.
The Ibis, I love it. Yeah, I love it personally. I don't think he's been called Toby in 2 or 3 years. So I think it started with Darren Creswell was our old coach, obviously ex-Swans player, and it sort of stuck and everyone's loved it since then.
Callum Archie, James Peatling, Sam Berry, Isaac Cumming and Jake Saligo are all available for selection, while Riley Thilthorpe will need to show no signs of his back complaint at main training tomorrow.
The group's feeling really confident, and I think all the boys that did miss those couple games will be able to come in and make an impact straight away.
Braden Ingram, 9 News.
Well, power forward Jack Lukosius is available to tackle North Melbourne on Sunday at Marvel Stadium after recovering from a lingering groin issue. Miles Bergman is good to go as well, and some good news for the club with Josh Carr set to unleash him through the midfield.
I think it just brings another player who's got great speed, great power, can play different roles in that midfield or different positions as well. So, he's going to be a real benefit to the midfield group for sure.
Josh Shin, though, won't play at any level this weekend, and that is due to a shoulder complaint. Well, Carlton coach Michael Voss has labelled Sam Docherty's brutal assessment of the club as a cultural defeat, but he wouldn't be drawn into reports that his job was offered to Collingwood counterpart Craig McRae.
Michael Voss hitting back at explosive comments from Sam Docherty after Carlton's battering at the hands of Sydney in opening round.
People keep asking me about last year's best and fairest speech, and culturally we defeat ourselves. I just felt that was an example of that.
While the scathing tirade was posted without Docherty's consent,
they're just an absolute show.
It still prompted the Blues to remove the widely admired former captain from their function on Thursday night. He also won't be involved with the club in any capacity until at least round 6. Voss today downplaying the ban.
Not aware of that at all. I'm coaching the footy team in the next 48 hours. We'll move on to what we need to be able to do, which is focused in on our game this weekend.
Voss also denied reaching out to his former player.
I'll move forward with the team I've got, because a lot of the stuff becomes he said, she said.
It's not the only controversy that has hit the club early this season, with reports circling that Collingwood's Craig McRae was offered the role as Blues coach last year.
I haven't even thought about it, so you asked me the question, I'll answer it, but I haven't even thought about it.
Carlton will have the opportunity to bounce back on Thursday night at the MCG when they take on Richmond in the traditional round 1 fixture.
We're obviously chasing a game model we want to play, and we want to do it more consistently. There may be moments of break, but at those particular times what we do expect is that we stick together as a footy team.
After enduring a loss in the corresponding matchup last year, the Blues are desperate for a win. Joel Kennedy, 9 News.
Well, not a great start at the tribunal tonight for the reigning premiers, Brisbane, who have failed in their attempt to free Darcy Gardner of a one-match suspension, and that was for striking Bulldog star Aaron Norton. Next up, captain Harris Andrews, who copped a 3-game ban for his errant elbow that concussed Artie Jones. Well, you can see behind me, it's all happening at the moment. The crowd is going off as the players are set to be brought out for game 1 of this semi-final series. The roof on this place could go off if the 36ers can get it done in game 1 of their best-of-3 series against the South East Melbourne Phoenix. At a very short time ago, I caught up with Zylan Cheatham. Well, Zylan, it's finals time. This is why you play the game.
Yeah.
How excited are you for tonight?
Oh man, excited is an understatement. I mean, you dream of these type of moments as a kid, and we're blessed to be in this position. We're here for a reason, and we want to prove that.
Has been just over a couple of weeks since you played. Is that a concern, or it's actually been good to refresh?
There's always, it's hard to emulate actual game setting, but for us, I mean, we practice hard. We go at each other. We all prepare the right way, so I'm excited about it.
And this crowd, we know, is going to be charged. They haven't had a home final in 8 years.
Yeah.
How important that you get a good, loud atmosphere?
Yeah, I mean, that's home court advantage. I mean, especially in these situations where, it's a couple games, 2 games and we advance in the series. So we could take care of home court. I think it's going to be an advantage for us. Hopefully our fans show up. Well, not hopefully, I know they will, and we should take care of business.
You've been such a great big game player, and you've got so many, namely Bryce. This kind of night is made for someone like him as well.
Yeah, I would say, these are the nights, though, that as a collective, it's a top to bottom type of thing, from front office to trainer to everybody. I mean, we're going to need a collective effort to win this game, and I think we prepared the right way, so I'm excited about it.
Oh, good luck.
Thank you.
Well, the Adelaide Thunderbirds are ready to bear the fruits of a big pre-season when they get their championship campaign underway on Saturday. Matilda Garrett and Taylor Williams today took to the greens at Kooyonga ahead of the Women's Australian Open on Thursday, but say they're fully focused on returning to grand final glory after being knocked out in the semis last season.
We've had a nice couple of weeks on the road now against some SSN competition, and just stoked to be into round 1 back at home in front of our own crowd, and good to go.
Well, the T-Birds host the New South Wales Swifts here at the Entertainment Centre on Saturday night. Let's hope it is rocking, Brenton, as much as it is right now. The players are on court. This place is going off. First final ever here. First home final in 8 years. Go the 36ers.
Yeah, too right. Absolutely incredible. What an atmosphere. Thank you, Eddie. Well, warm overnight before a slight dip in temperatures over coming days. Jessica joined us with a full forecast next. But for now, here's tomorrow's speed cameras.
Hi, it's Rue Ditz and Loz from Triple M Breakfast.
Turn us on tomorrow morning for the latest Adelaide news, traffic and weather.
And don't miss Adelaide's most listened to segment, The Rumour Mill.
On 104.7 Triple M.
Hello again. We've been soaking up some gorgeous conditions around Adelaide today as we warmed just into the 30s there. 33 degrees was our top, and we're still sitting around that 32 degree mark in the city right now. So a warm evening. That was after our overnight low of 13.7 degrees. Around the suburbs, on the plains, we did lift into the 30s there. Elizabeth and Mawson Lakes both up to 34. Glenelg and Noarlunga both reached 33, and then Noarlunga came in a little bit softer, but still warm with that, Mount Lofty, I should say, with that top of 29. So through the north, we've had temperatures pretty consistently in the mid-30s there. Port Pirie made 34, as did Port Augusta. Port Lincoln made 35 degrees, and we were around the same mark at Whyalla as well. Through the south of the state, again, most areas were up there at 30 degrees or above. Mount Gambier made 30. Keith got to 34 degrees, Murray Bridge 35 and Renmark 34 degrees. But all of that warm weather will be tapering off a little bit, and that's because of the front moving through here. So that's just going to arrive and basically flip the wind direction. I don't know if you can see the arrows then coming from the south instead. So that's going to cool off those temperatures as the winds come from the south, and not causing like a huge big drop in temperatures. It's still going to feel like quite nice, but you will potentially notice that tomorrow. In terms of the rain, it's more so places further to our south that are going to get the rain. So Hobart's going for the wet top of 21 tomorrow. Melbourne might see a shower with 29. Canberra expecting 30 and Sydney lots of sun in store with that warm top of 29 degrees. So through the north of our state tomorrow, we're still staying clear even with that change coming through. Temperatures are pulling back a touch. We've got Port Augusta dipping back to 30. Port Pirie 28 and Clare 26 degrees. Port Lincoln expecting 23. So you can see the temperatures pulling back a bit with that change coming through. If anyone's going to get showers, it's likely to be through that southeast corner there. So perhaps a shower or two for Mount Gambier with the top of 21, Narracourt with 23, maybe a splash at Keith with 24. But apart from that, basically looking dry. It's just a temperature drop that you'll notice. We do have marine wind warnings in place for many of the coastal areas in our regions there, including the lower southeast. While on local waters, we're looking at northerlies 15 knots, turning southerly to around 20 knots. For the Adelaide suburbs, there's that temperature drop that I was talking about. So we're just sitting in the mid-20s. So as I said, yes, it's a temperature drop, but really still in that sweet spot there. Very gentle weather. Plenty of sun still around, a little bit more cloud cover coming through, but still a mixture of cloud and sun. 25 degrees, the top for Golden Grove. Marion expecting 26 and Mount Barker 24. In the city, we've got that top there in the mid-20s for you with the overnight low of around 19. And then Thursday, probably the mildest day of the week with a cloudy 23 degrees. But after that, we are warming right back up again. In fact, the weekend looks lovely in the high 20s there. Don't worry about the showers on the forecast there for Sunday, Brenton. It's just a slight chance, so don't go changing your plans.
It really is the best time of year.
It sure is.
That is 9 News Adelaide for this Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. More news updates across the evening. Now it's over to Ali with the current affair. Hope you have a great evening. Good night.